Now we're going to talk about more of the economy, but really policy and the economy, they're kind of intertwined a lot anymore. So we called it a new start. And honestly, this is again for 6 months ago. Now it's really humming along if you think about how things are going. John Maynard Keynes said this: when the facts change, I change my mind. What do you do, sir? That's a really good quote. His other quote was, in the long run, we're all dead. I don't know what to think of that quote, but it's true. But the quote we got on the page there, LPL Research, we've upgraded our view on the U.S. economy twice this year already, February and March. We were one of the more optimistic, bullish shops out there on the street coming into this year. And then you come in and things are even better than we expected, like a lot better than we expected. But again, the facts change. We change our mind. What do you do, sir? So you can be just stuck in put your heels down and kind of fight what the market's doing, or you can just accept what the market's doing and do your best to create long-term wealth for your clients. That's exactly what we're doing here. And that's why we've kind of upgraded our view a couple different times. Here's our view on overall growth this year. Here's what you got to know. U.S. might grow upwards of 7% this year. Guys, that's the best year since 84. If we go a little bit higher, we could be looking at the best year of economic growth since 1952. Now, full disclaimer, last year was the worst year for economic growth since the Great Depression. So we're making that up. But still, I mean, things like retail sales and housing sales and auto sales, all used cars, all that stuff, it's soaring, right? I mean, things have really, really come back much faster than anyone obviously expected. And we could be looking at the best year of economic growth for the entire world in like 5 decades. So again, just a really impressive comeback, no doubt about it. I love this chart. I've shared it for a while now. The idea of economic cycles, they last a while. So here you see all the previous economic cycles since World War II, how long they lasted. The last one lasted about 11 years. This one is like a year old. We don't officially know when this one started yet. Technically, we're in a recession. Nobody in their right mind believes that. But there's a company or institute that calls it recessions, non-recessions. But likely it started about a year ago, sometime last summer. All right. So let's just say this expansion's a year old. Just make this easy. Year old of growth without a recession. The average is 5 years. Who's to say we can't get to average? We absolutely think we can get to average. Will we get to 10 years of economic growth like the last cycle? We don't think so, right? This wasn't your regular recession. I mean, LPL Research actually grew. I got promoted, all right? If I'd done this a year ago, I'd have a different title. I got promoted in the middle of a pandemic. I just started talking in an office by myself all the time instead of going on airplanes talking to people. LPL grew. There's a lot of companies that grew. My father-in-law in Cincinnati, Ohio, has a restaurant. I know all about the problems clearly that happened in that world. I saw him Christmas time, worried about his mortgage and how he's going to keep his business afloat. Fortunately, things are opening up and they're doing better. My brother has one of the largest G.I. Joe collections out of anyone you know. He travels to the Holiday Inn Convention Center. Well, that got shut down last year. So it's not lost on me or lost on LPL that, yeah, certain parts of the economy did honestly better, probably because of, which is weird to say, but honestly did better because of what happened versus other parts that were totally shut down, but fortunately starting to come back. And that's why we don't think this is a regular cycle of growth. So maybe we hit like 5 years or so versus the 10. And every time I use the word average, I always think of this joke. You might like this one. There's a statistician and he puts his head in a bucket of ice and his feet in a fire. You go, hey, how do you feel? He goes, well, on average, I feel pretty good. So anyway, there you go.